Jai Baba. I would like to tell you how I felt with beloved Baba. I was brought up in the family, Sattha family, Jasawala family, and later on I was married to Kerawala family. We were all relatives to each other, and I stayed in Bindra house before my children were born for very, very long time. From 1955 onwards, I was told by Baba that I should stay in Bindra house, and I could serve him whenever he came to visit Pune. Many a times he would go to Bombay and he would stop in the middle, rest, have lunch, and then proceed. And he would come to watch cricket match at Pune club. Sometimes he would have must brought in and he would work with must in the garage of Bindra house. When Baba would be staying in Bindra house with the must, then the must would be staying in garage. He would have comfortable bed and he would be served by the Bindra house family, giving him food, breakfast, lunch and dinner, whatever he would ask for. And Baba would go to him, Baba would give him bath, and the door would be shut of that garage, and they would work the spiritual work used to go on. Anyway, so I used to be staying with my family, and I was loved by everybody, and I used to do all the work they would tell me to do, so there was no problem at all. I used to love being with them. We used to talk of beloved Baba. Arach's mother would talk about Upasni Maharaj, how Upasni Maharaj used to go to them in Nagpur. There was another saint by Mukka Baba in Nagpur. He would also go to their Mary Lodge. The house in which they stayed in Nagpur was called Mary Lodge. And Mukka Baba used to make them do things for him. He would ask them to give him massage. He would ask them to cook food. Actually, Gai Mai said to me one day that Mukka Baba taught them how to serve the master, means beloved Baba. Because when they were in Nagpur, Baba didn't go there very often, but then they were ordered to come and stay. First, so they stayed at Upper Meherabad in the ashram. Then from there, Baba told them from 1940 or 42, I don't really remember the years, to have a house in Pune. And so they moved from ashram to Pune. And Baba started coming and going. Baba used to come with musts in Pune. They had a huge garage, and they had no car over there. But so Baba used to work with the must in the garage. And the rest of the time he would come for his lunch or anything that he needed. Have bath, relax, sleep in the house. Erich's father was very loving, very, very loving. And Baba respected him a lot. Baba would call him Papa. Anyway, things used to happen very happily. But in those days, there was big famines in India. So we had to have a ration card for each family. And we used to get the grains from the government. But the grains were horrible. We had to sit every day and clean the grains to be used for tomorrow. And at that time, all the Manli was very young and they needed to be fed really well. And so we were all the time busy doing things. Baba used to ask us after the lunch or dinner or any time he felt like, we had to entertain him by singing bhajan. Erich's sister used to be playing harmonium. She was very good at it. And we would all sing bhajans which beloved Baba would enjoy. And sometimes Baba would call singers to be at Bindra house to entertain him. I remember once a Muslim gentleman, or I don't know whether he was Indian, he had come to sing to Baba. And first Baba said there will be 8 to 10 people coming. But when people came to know about it, lot of people arrived. And Baba's way of doing his work was he would enjoy the music, and towards the end Baba would like to feed the people who have come to sing to him. So Gai Mai had prepared dal and rice and some vegetables. But when she saw the crowd was big, she thought the food won't be enough. So she tells her daughter Mani, go and put some more rice and dal to cook. Quietly she sneaked off and went and did what she was told. But then when she returned from the kitchen, Baba asked her, where have you been? Why did you go away from here? There was such a lovely music going on. She said, Baba, I had to attend to the food. Baba said to her, you shouldn't worry about the food. What was cooked will be enough for all of us. She said, Baba, you had told us less people and now it seems the crowd is big. So Mummy told me to go and put some dal and rice. Then Baba made her sit next to him and said, no more going anywhere. So she sat. She had put the food on the sagris and the food started to get cooking. At first it smelled very good, but later on Baba did not allow her to go and attend to the food. What the new food was cooked, all got burnt. It was so badly burnt that not even the goats would eat it. And when it was food time, Baba opened the lids of the food and put his glance into it. Because the rest of the food was burnt, that was not brought up on the table for serving. So, and Baba started serving. Everybody would go with that plate and Baba would serve them. And the food did not get less. It was sufficient for everybody. And after everybody had eaten, there was enough food for the 2-3 servants we had in the house. And after the whole household had eaten. So then when Baba was going for resting, Baba called and said to Gaimai and Manu, "You don't have faith in me. Why did you put that food on? I told you you'd sit with me and listen to the good music that was going on." And then Mama said, "Baba, I'm sorry, forgive us." Baba said, "It's okay," and he forgave them. Then I don't remember whether it was Bindra house or elsewhere. Baba had brought one must. Which place it was, this was told to me by Gai Mama. And he liked to eat green peas in his food. So Baba said to Gai Mai, "You must cook green peas every day for the fast. Otherwise he will be very upset." So Gai Mai used to keep on getting green peas and cook with the green peas with rice, green peas and the vegetable, plain green peas with the potato and things like that. And the must was very happy. But one fine day, there was no green peas whatsoever in the market. So Meherabad came home and said, "There is no green peas in the market at all. I went everywhere, but there is no green peas." So Gai Mai prepared food in a different way. When the food was taken to the must, Baba was going to feed him. The must got very angry and he said, "I don't want to eat." Baba tried to calm him down, but the must would not listen. And it went on for a while, and then Baba walked into the house and said, "Why didn't you listen to my order?" "But Baba, there was no peas in the market. How could we get them?" So there were no dry peas. All of a sudden, Gai Mai remembered that yes, you get dry peas in the market. We should have brought them over, soaked them overnight, and cooked. But anyway, Baba forgave us. And next day, the must was given peas, and he was happy. I think Baba's work got over, and he was taken back to the place from where he was come. And Baba was used to eat everything, all kinds of vegetables. But in the later years, he started liking one vegetable, and he would ask for the same vegetable for 15 days, 20 days, and he would eat that. Something like spinach, for example. He would eat spinach every day with his meal. So we would prepare spinach. Baba never used to eat very spicy food, but he would like the flavor of chili. So what we would do, we would cut the green chili and remove the center part of the chili, which is very, very spicy, and just take the skin of the chili and put it for few seconds in his food after it is cooked, so the food absorbs the perfume of the chili. And Baba loved the way the food was cooked by Gaima and the family. And when Baba would be staying, sometimes if he brought Naja, so Naja would be also staying with us, and Rano also be staying with us. And we were all very happy, contented. In the evening, Baba had ordered Brother Meherabad to take us for a walk. So at 5 o'clock, we would be all ready to go for a walk. Meherabad would come, and then we would all go for a long walk. In those days, Pune wasn't crowded like today. And the houses that were there were some bungalows, at the most one-story house. No more tall 5, 6 stories houses. They were not there. And the population of Pune also was limited. You can walk on the road. And there were plenty of bicycles. There were no rickshaws, auto rickshaws, less cars, because people were middle class people staying in the camp. So everything was very moderate, and it was easy for us all to go for a walk. Then after the walk is finished, Meherabad, 1 or 2 servants with the big bags we would go to the vegetable market and bring the vegetables, whatever we were going to cook for tomorrow. Then after the dinner, we would all sit on the table. The vegetable would be piled up on the newspaper in the center of the table, and we would all sit and make it clean for tomorrow. We did not have fridge in those days, so we would wet a cotton bag or a gunny bag and put all the cleaned vegetables and wrap it with wet cloth and put it on the veranda for the breeze to keep it fresh. And next day we would do the cooking. And that's how our life was in Bindra House. And Baba liked to be entertained. Sometimes Baba would call my father from Ahmednagar, and he would tell my father to tell him stories about his life, how he went for the First World War. He was sent by the Britishers to Africa to work on the locomotive. My father was a locomotive driver towards the end. In the beginning, when he first joined the railways, he was a fireman. He had to just push the coal into the engine to make the fire, and the steam would run the locomotive. And my papa used to say that they had a lovely life on the locomotive. The drivers used to be either British or Christian, but they wouldn't make more Indian drivers. They would trust Zoroastrian people to, if they were intelligent, they will teach them how to take care of the steam, how to take care of the driving the locomotive. All these things were taught to them. In those days, they did not have to go through exams. They would be given grades, higher grades, according to their performance on the locomotive. Anyway, eventually my father, when he retired, he was full-fledged railway driver. He used to work for BB and CI, and he would run the train from Bombay Center to Baroda or Navsari, Surat, or that side of the India. And one day my father tells Baba that there was a British driver and they were not supposed to be drinking alcohol while driving. But he had brought an alcohol bottle and he was drinking and driving. When he would get tired, he would tell assistant like my father to take over the locomotive. So anyway, at one station there was checkup of whether they had carried alcohol, and that was winter time and it was very, very cold. So the driver used to give the workers who used to work with him on the locomotive. And after a while, the drink got over. So now what my father thought, when he asks for drink or the bottle, he will scold them, because they had also had little alcohol because of the chilly, cold climate. And my father prepared tea in a bottle and added to the alcohol, which looked exactly like alcohol. And it smelled like alcohol because there was little left in the bottle. And when the inspector came to check the locomotive, my father knew there was only the mild tea in that bottle. So, and he said, "What is that?" So my father said, "This is tea." But he said, "It is in the bottle of whiskey." So they said, "What?" "We prepare our tea in that bottle. We fill up with water, and when the water gets hot, we add tea leaves. But before that, the driver was given good scolding by the checkers. So the driver was very afraid that his job would go. So he tells my father, "You Parsis have good prayers, I have heard. You must pray to your God that we don't get caught." So my father said, all right, all right. So my father started our Zoroastrian prayers and prepared as if he was a very holy man. And when that inspector came and took a sip of that bottled water, they were not caught, they were not punished. So that after that inspector had gone away, the driver asked, "Hurmachi, what did you do?" He said, "I just said the prayers and that thing turned into tea water." "Really?" And my father said, "Yes, our prayers are very, very strong, you see." And from that time onwards, that driver liked my father very much. And Baba said, "Then you were not punished?" My father said, "No, no one got punished." And Baba enjoyed that story very much. When my father went to Africa, they had to go by steamer, ship, because that time there were no aircrafts going. It was very early in 90s. And so they arrived in Africa. They got off the ship. There were lots of Indians who were taken from India to Africa because what Britishers had done, they had all the slaves brought over from different places to Africa to build the railway tracks. And they used to put on chains on their hand and on their feet and something on their neck so that the slaves don't run away. Anyway, these Indians had to be with them. My father said he had to take them in the train bogies to the place where they would have to work for the whole day. Then, as the railway tracks were made bigger and bigger, they used to go more forward. The people used to do a lot of laboring, the slaves. But Britishers used to feed them really good. There used to be fresh fish in the ports of Africa, so these people were given fish and rice and they would be happy. And when the Indian crew went there, they used to wear clothes, and the people of that land were not wearing clothes. They would only wear something very scanty, tucked up with leaves around their waist. Women would be not wearing anything on the top. And all the people over there did not mind if such a thing would happen in the world now. There would be a chaos. But in those days, they were very innocent. And on the contrary, they would tell the people who were wearing clothes, why do you have to wear all these things? And they had no answer for that. And the only thing the Africans were afraid of eating was tomato. And tomatoes grew wild in Africa. The land was very, very fertile and anything would grow very easily. So these Indians knew that the tomato is a good vegetable to be eaten. And when they would eat that vegetable with onion or any other thing, the Africans would say, no, don't eat that red fruit vegetable. It is devil's vegetable. And my father used to say that they were very innocent people. They used to make hammocks out of the stringy trees, like vine, very strong. They would make them into hammocks and hang them in the land from one tree to other, and they would fall asleep in that. Or some people would sleep on the floor, and they never had any fear of animals or snakes or scorpions. And they were good people, very innocent and good. In the night, they would all dance with the drums and the shouting. My father used to understand what they were shouting for, because he used to pick up language very fast. And Baba used to love listening to such stories. Then in the Second World War time, my father had already become a railway driver. So he was sent again to Africa to go and work over there. That time, the African people had been civilized. They started wearing clothes. The Britishers provided them. And they were very good people. They believed in God and other deities, and they would have feasts. Jai Baba.